Hey guys, it's Saru, and this video is going to be a little different. Now usually it's going to be game news guides or whatever, and I kind of wanted to talk to you guys because I've been feeling kind of weird about the gaming world in general, about MMORPGs this year, and just everything that goes in between. So this is going to be completely non-scripted. I haven't written anything out. I'm just going to be talking to you guys one-to-one, and we'll see how it goes. But there is a lot that I really want to talk about. And maybe I'm not the only one feeling conflicted about gaming in general, I guess, these days. And just to kind of see where the headspace is at. So let's get right into it. So for the last year or so, I think it's been really strange in the gaming world. I would say maybe in the last 2 years, but particularly this year. Last year, a lot of the MMORPGs and games that had come out ended up shutting down this year. So that was actually pretty sad to see. You know, you had Elyon, which, I mean, yeah, I had my criticisms of it, but it doesn't mean I want it to fail. I wanted it to succeed and do something else. We had Terra shut down, we had Scavenger shut down, and a few other games and stuff. On Friday, I released a comment, I guess, saying that I was gonna release a video over the weekend. And last week I did have a video planned in my head, and for me, production wise, it's much easier for me to have an idea of a video and make it happen rather than making the video, if that makes any sense. So for me, I think in anything really, once I have an idea for something, I make it happen. I like making it happen and finding ways to make that a reality. So I've used that kind of, I guess you can call it, technique in my content creation since, I don't know, pretty much the beginning, which is why videos are usually sporadic, because I make them off the cuff. I make them on the fly, you know. I don't make them and then kind of schedule them out. I used to, and I tried that for about a month, and yeah, it works schedule wise, but for me, I just don't feel like maybe that specific day I wanted to release a specific video. So last week I had some ideas, and I wanted to release a video on Swords of Legends Online. And I think that's one of the main downfalls of my channel, is because once I get invested into a game, I'm pretty much covering that game. That is not good when you're a content creator, because you don't get to cover a wide variety of games. Or you do, but because you're kind of focusing on one game, audiences are really just coming for that one game, and maybe some of them, a very, very, very small percentage, will stick with you to the next game or so on and so forth. So I've never really been able to manage the right way of doing that. But anyways, I did have a video planned last week about basically what to expect for 3.0, which is the next big update for the game. And I didn't because I had a weird feeling in the pit of my stomach for the last little while, I think. Now, working in the game industry, it's very hard when you're a player and working behind the scenes on games, because you kind of see a duality of things when it comes to comments, statements, PR things, marketing, and whatever. And it's always been that case with me, but more particularly with Swords of Legends Online, because I just was taking things as a player rather than as, you know, game dev type of things. So I didn't release a video, and then over the weekend, I did say on the Friday that I was going to release a video over the weekend, and that video was also going to be about the game or about upcoming MMORPGs. It was going to be two. It was going to be on Saturday and Sunday, and I don't know, something just felt off. I didn't want to release them. There's something that's telling me that it's not the right time, that there's something coming. So I've usually ignored those gut feelings, and when I do and I release a video, something happens where a game will shut down or something. I'm not saying I'm the cause, of there's something weird or spooky about it, but it's just a thing that happened over the course of time. So with Swords of Legends Online, for example, the 3.0 update did come out on the Chinese version on Steam and the Malaysian version. And usually, since release really on North America and Europe, we've had almost a synchronized release schedule. So whenever they would release something, we would release it. Or maybe there'd be a week or two delay or 3-week delay, something like that. But it's usually within the same time frame. And we did that for 1.0, 1.1, 2.0, 2.1, and 3.0 came around and nothing really released. No information. We have the publisher, Gameforge, not really make a statement, but there are, you know, individual statements from staff, such as community managers, saying that there's no information at this current time, which is strange because I think the players only really wanted to know, is this coming out or not, you know? So as a player, I see that as, oh no, man, is the game shutting down? What's going on? As a game dev person, I get it. I understand the intricacies that come with it, whether it be contractual stuff, whether it be licensing, renewals, internal roadmaps that are having issues or, something. So I get it, but I can't help it as a player, look at it and be like, oh God. Because that could also be a reason, right? So there was that, and there hasn't really been any information. And it's got me thinking recently, because I did find out that GameForge, not that it's a bad thing, by the way, you do you. GameForge was hiring for their internal game studio, which they are a developer, they have their own little games, and they have an internal little team to make a game and stuff like that, I guess. And they're hiring currently for a crypto NFT game that they're making brand new. I believe it's a mobile and PC game. And they're hiring game producers and designers and so on and so forth, right? The normal stuff. So it's unrelated to the solo thing, but it just got me thinking that there are so many developers right now currently working on this type of project, this whole metaverse thing. And I guess I understand the opportunity for, being maybe a pioneer or something that can make it happen. I think they think of it as kind of like PUBG, in the sense of the battle royale genre didn't really happen until PUBG came out. And when that came out, Fortnite came out, right? And then other games started adapting into it and trying to do its own thing. So I think we're going into the next phase of what's the next big thing, I guess, for gaming. And I don't know how to feel about it. It's a strange feeling, and it's got me conflicted whenever I've been wanting to make a video recently. And every time I've been making a video, something comes up in that aspect. And I know a lot of people don't care at the end of the day, you're gonna play a game that you like, and that's cool. But again, like, taking it as a player and as a game dev person, it's kind of like a conflicting morality, like a duality, like I've said in the beginning. Because sometimes I can see a decision for a game as a player and I'll be like, this is stupid, what the hell, or this is great. But as a person that's worked with game devs, I can see it and be like, oh, this is an attempt to make money for this specific reason, for this and that, and probably increasing revenue or whatever. I'm being completely generic in these comments. I'm not giving you any examples, but I get it. So seeing this type of thing go on, Throne and Liberty, for example, is probably one of the biggest MMORPGs that people are super hyped for. Although, arguably, I feel like that tends to be such an ongoing thing where people hype it, try it out, doesn't really hit it, and then it kind of dies off within a year. It's happened time and time again. The only games that I see that are still kicking it for some strange reason are New World and Lost Ark. So Throne and Liberty, for example, I've covered this game a few times. And I'm also aware that NCSoft is heavily investing in NFT, crypto type of things for games in order to create a play to earn environment for games. The same way that I know that Krafton is doing it for Bluehole and their other subsidiaries for their games. And it's not just them, they're big, giant monsters, and there are other ones, big and small, that are looking into this type of thing. There are people investing millions and millions of dollars to get into this first. And it's such a scary thought, thinking of the future of the MMORPG genre, or just online gaming in general. And we have upcoming games like Arcade 2, which I have my opinions on. I mean, it could be really good, or it could just be history repeating itself, which, quite frankly, history has been repeating itself both in the real world and digital world for the last 2 years or so. Or maybe just time hasn't gone anywhere, it's just in a loop. Or in a loop like in the Matrix. But we have Arcade 2, we have Ashes of Creation, we have Into the Echo, we have other Unreal Engine 5 MMORPGs that are currently in development, and there are some that are play to earn. MMOs and play to earn, I don't know. So it's been a really interesting feeling, like I've been saying, to look at games and be like, ooh, I'm really hyped for this game, and then kind of learn more about it, and I'm like, I'm conflicted as a content creator as well, not just as a player that also worked in game dev stuff, but as a content creator for you guys and even for myself, just kind of generally speaking. And the reason I say this is because one of the main reasons, or I guess the final straw reason, why I had quit and left Krafton Bluehole Studio as their creative strategic partner was because they were getting into that type of environment, or crypto, NFT, play to earn type of stuff. I had known about it, I think, earlier this year, whenever it was that I had left, and I had found out that they were trying to kind of sell things like Terra avatars, IP related things. So could have been a weapon, could have been a weapon skin, could have been whatever, and try to sell it to players through other mediums. Having been behind the scenes with them was, okay, all these items are already in Elyon. Like, you are literally reselling these items, and I had released that video, which, you know, wasn't popular. I think my channel fell off after Terra anyways, but my concern was at the time, and even to this day really, was you are reselling everything that you had on Terra on Elyon. And I had warned players at the time that there are things in Elyon that are being presented as brand new in this quote unquote, you know, brand new MMORPG being sold to you that was just a completely reused asset from another MMORPG of the same company. Reusing assets is nothing new. It's for efficiency's sake. It's to make things a little bit smoother. If you already have a horse that works, why would you redo a horse? Maybe you'll fix up textures and stuff. Okay. And with Elyon, it was a completely different game in the beginning. And then as it got rehashed and redone, they needed to rush the project, right? So what's the better way to do that? Either redo everything and spend more money and time and resources, or take things from Terra, such as their monsters, their bosses, their world bosses, their horses sounds, which I know that was a meme for a while, and then put it on Elyon and call it a brand new game. And that's just game assets. I'm talking about cash shop assets, like specific wings and mounts and weapon skins that you bought on Terra with a completely different name that was being resold to you. So I'm worried that this is going to be a case of normality in upcoming years, where it's almost virtually accepted to rebuy items and stuff like that. And it's so strange because I felt like we as gamers, we were coming around really cool. Ironically, when game companies pissed off the Star Wars fans, which are, you know, it's a huge fandom, the big issue was about the loot boxes. No one had really said anything about this before, you know, with soccer games or whatever that EA had published before. So it was such a movement that it went into law in Korea, it went into law for Europe, it's currently a law in Hawaii, and is trying to become a law in the United States for gambling or loot boxes and pay to win to not be existing in games. So that was such a movement forward, especially me, you know, coming from American Online. I feel like all the young people are like, what is that? Is that an MMORPG? Do we walk around? No. So that was when the internet was like through a CD and like a phone cable. You know, coming from back then and kind of seeing the progress of gaming to now, it's interesting. It's very interesting. And recently, like I've been saying, I've been reflecting quite a bit on that, and it's been such a strange experience because and I don't want to say all of us, because, you know, a lot of people are for pay to win, a lot of people are for loot boxes, they don't really care, and that's more of this newer generation. But I feel like my generation at this time, we were at a point where we were kind of fighting for it, like we were fighting to not have that at all, and then they kind of got tired and broke down from just it being in every single game, that they don't really care anymore, and just like, whatever, I'll just enjoy the game as it is, right? So fast forward to my concerns now. You know, we went from a online predatory system with the pay to win systems. Ironically, one of the biggest ones that kind of caused the hugest controversy was ArcAge, to loot boxes. Same with ArcAge, Terra, and pretty much every Korean MMORPG that ever came into the West. And then, strangely enough, as games like Genshin Impact and Tower of Fantasy and mobile games in general that are called gacha games, which quite frankly are loot boxes, came into fruition and started going into the PC market, it became almost socially acceptable to buy loot boxes again and gamble again and do all these things again. So much so that they're extremely popular, which, you know, kudos, you know. I love to see a company succeed and people succeed, and I feel personally that this kind of planted a seed in players. I feel like a lot of the players, like myself, we were like, does nobody see what's going on? I felt like I was in the Matrix, you know, like I had opened up from a pod and I'm looking around, I'm like, hello, like, does nobody else see what's going on here? And then just creeping slowly into it, now we're getting into the play to earn stuff, where you play for cryptocurrency, possibilities to earn money for playing a game. And all the crypto people and NFT people, the gorilla picture people, are super excited for this, so they push it, and it's slowly becoming socially acceptable because it's totally fine, apparently. I feel like we forget the whole year or two, even the repercussions that we have right now from last year or the year before, where PlayStation 5 was not available, where GPUs were literally not available, nothing was available, because crypto was such a big thing to mine that technology came to a halt pretty much. Refrigerators had low stock because of it. And I don't know, I guess I'm scared about the future, about gaming in general, about communities and socially accepted norms of where greed is going. And so for me, when I'm always talking about Swords of Legends Online and when I'm really excited about it, it's because it's not a game that has any loot boxes. It has no subscription. It's free to play now, but you paid for it at the beginning. You have cosmetics, that's it. You have a developer, a Chinese developer nonetheless, that you never hear about this. A developer that doesn't really give a crap about making money off their product. I mean, they do, obviously, but the idea around the game was literally to promote their single player games, because their single player games, so we'll call them Swords of Legends 1, 2, 3, and the upcoming 4th one, they started making books out of that, and movies and TV shows. And so their revenue mostly comes from those things and their single player games rather than the MMORPG. So they created a singular space for fans of those products to kind of come together, and then they pull from those products to kind of increase the lore. So anything from Swords of Legends 3 they kind of put into the game, to increase the lore. And sometimes they add more backstory, sometimes they don't. Versus creating an MMORPG, brand new IP, has nothing, but it does have subscriptions probably, which a lot of players continue to argue now that, subscription is the way to go, so a game doesn't go pay to win. But it's so strange for me to ever hear that anymore, because when you see games like, I'm just gonna call it like it is, Lost Ark, be incredibly successful as it is right now with no subscription, and yet have these certain aspects that it has, which I'm not gonna nitpick or say whatever it is, but the game is what it is. Okay, it is what it is. I don't really think that's the case anymore. I don't really think that's the case, and I don't really think that subscription is the way to go. So seeing a Chinese developer create a Chinese game, come to the West, literally no aspects of greed really, and see that game kind of crumble, be it for optimization, sure, be it for server stability, okay, but as a game itself, it's really sad to see that, and then see other games of complete opposite attributes succeed. So yeah, I'm at a standstill. Don't really know how to feel. I feel like I'm currently in grieving for some strange reason for a game, but it's not necessarily just for the game or anything, but mostly for the gaming community in general, where we have, I don't know if the word is evolved, but let's call it evolved, into a hive mind of social acceptance of being taken advantage of. So it's been kind of hard to cover MMOs and do it with a lot of passion these days. And I am worried about the future. I am worried about the upcoming games that do release, and regardless of what is being said or isn't being said about Ashes of Creation, having had the limited time that I did, being able to help out as a moderator over there, having been able to talk to Steven Sharif at the time regularly, hear his visions, stuff like that, I understand. I get it, but priorities do change over time. And yeah, he is a millionaire, but money does run out. And at some point, I feel like a lot of these companies are going to look into other endeavors, such as the play to earn scenario, in order to increase revenue. Now, I'm not saying play to earn is a terrible thing. I'm just saying that people are trying to rush this Ready Player One kind of vision that we are nowhere near in technology to actually get to. As much as Nvidia wants to release a brand new GPU every 2 years, we are absolutely nowhere near it. I don't think we are. So I guess this was a long video, a long rant, kind of just chatting with you and sharing my opinions and stuff like that. I don't think a lot of people will watch this video, and if they do, cool. Kind of just did this mostly for my own documentation of, my thoughts on the subject, I guess. But I think what I'm going to be doing in the near future is going to be focusing not just on MMOs and those type of games, but slowly kind of transitioning to trying every type of game and kind of reigniting that passion that was not just for MMOs, which is what has my channel been known for, but for online games in general, which I haven't done, you know, either for a fear of low views or whatever, but yeah, I want to change that, I think. I don't know, maybe I'm alone on this, and if I am, then, you know, sorry for you had to listen to this video. But yeah, I am worried about the game industry. I am worried about things, and the reason I do say that play to earn and the NFT and crypto market is becoming such a thing is because before working where I'm working right now, I had interviews with a ton of developer studios that are all doing the exact same thing. Mind you, there was one here in Canada. I was accepted, but I was already working. And their vision was different. It wasn't necessarily about taking advantage, but it was mostly just play games and enjoy the game and take part in tournaments, and then that could be kind of the way of, you know, play to earn. But regardless, you know, every single one that I had either interviews for or that had reached out to me or that I had a recruiter reach out to me for, they all are doing the exact same thing. And it scares me because a lot of people won't see it right now, but once a game is going to be in fruition in the next 2 years or 3 years, I think there's going to be such a boom in the market seeing those type of games that I don't know what's gonna happen. But again, those actual features aren't the issue. It's mostly about the fact that advantage continues to be taken, and it's kind of pulling the wool over players' eyes. You know, and we have a new, like, let's call it Call of Duty type of thing, you know, with Dr. Disrespect, that he's the head of the studio at Midnight Society, which is a brand new game studio from him. And, you know, he put in all the money and he has his own developers and stuff. And, you know, he has worked on Call of Duty, which was interesting. You know, he was one of the designers there. But even his game, which I believe is called Deadrop, has NFT on it. It has different types of crypto-related currencies in order to either buy specific avatars or whatever. And, you know, and of course, you know, he's a big streamer. So even more people are now getting into the habit of, you know, yeah, NFT play-to-earn stuff in games. That's the way to go. And I don't know. I really don't know what's going on in the gaming world anymore, but I'm going to end the video right now before I just continue talking. But yeah, guys, I don't know. I really want to hear your thoughts, if there are any, if you are watching this whatsoever, or if this video is just going to be at like 100 views for the rest of its life. As long as 1 or 2 people can see this and, you know, tell me their thoughts. I don't want to feel like I'm crazy, that maybe I'm in the wrong here. Maybe I need to evolve and reevaluate fun. Maybe I should just make videos and maybe release a video every day or something about something super exciting about a game that I'm honestly really not excited about, but sell it to you that way. I don't really know. I'm at a standstill, but I want to hear your thoughts, guys. So let me know in the comments below. We'll talk about it. Sorry for this long video. Sorry for the somber tone. I will see you soon on the next video. We'll see what it is, and maybe, you know, at some point I'll actually have scheduled videos and I'll be able to tell you what the next video will be. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and click that adorable f***ing bell to know when I upload a brand new video. And don't forget to come join my Discord if you want to chat and hang out. Much love, and as always, till next time, friends.